Congratulations. You're who?
Thank you. I'm Major Dick.
Major Dick. And all the girls with you. Is that right?
That's our organization.
Well, that's nice. Did you think you'd be in Tokyo so soon?
We never thought we'd be here at all.
You didn't think you'd be here so...
Mm-mm.
Well, that's something. How many of you girls are over?
There's 81 of us.
81. And how many of the girls have been over here before, or have they?
None. I don't think anyone been out of the United States before.
Well, how do you like the looks of this country? What do you think about this place?
Well, it's...
You think we did?
USA would look a lot better.
It would?
Mm-hmm.
I imagine all of you think that. How about that? Yes. And you come over here, what's your purpose over here now, Major?
Well, we came over to set up a general hospital in Japan to take care of the prisoners of war that they can take in here.
Set up, what's that?
We came over here to take care of prisoners of war who have been in Japan.
Major, what did you come over for? How many of you girls are over? Tell me all about it.
Well, there's 81 of our nurses right here at the present time, and we came over to set up a general hospital to take care of the prisoners of war in Japan. Which we hope to do in a few days, get started.
You hope to get started right away?
Yeah, we hope so.
And I guess a lot of the girls expect to run into some people that they do know here. Is that right?
Well, it's a small world because every place you go, you meet somebody you know.
How many girls do you tell me you have with you now? About
81.
80? Is that right?
81 nurses, and 14 of those are the original group that came out 3.5 years ago.
I see. That's 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
That's a long time being overseas, isn't it?
It is.
How many of the girls came over that long time ago?
14 of us.
Have you got any girls here now that come over at that length of time?
Yes, Major Burlingham and Miss Marshall and Miss Nunley.
And where's she?
Miss Nunley.
Miss Nunley. Well, I'm glad to see you. Can you tell us anything about your experiences over here at that time?
I think the most exciting work that we've done at all was taking care of prisoners of war in Brisbane. We took care of most everyone who managed to escape from the Philippine Islands. We took care of one group of 74 POWs who escaped from the Davao Penal Colony. They were put on a ship by the Japanese, and they thought that they were being carried to Formosa to be interned there. And on their way around the coast of Zamboango, the ship was torpedoed.
And where is this?
Zamboango.
Oh, yes. Yes, I know.
750 men, American prisoners, were on that ship, and of the lot, 83 managed to live to get ashore.
Well, tell us something about their conditions when they came ashore there.
We didn't see them, of course, until they got to Brisbane.
Yes.
They were flown down. They were brought by submarine from Davao, not Davao either, from Zamboango, from that peninsula. They were brought by submarine down as far as Windy Island, or Biak.
Oh,
and from Biak, they were flown down to our hospital in Brisbane. We were notified. We had just a short time, didn't we? It was about supper time one night. They told us they were all coming in, so we got all the nurses out to set up wards and get food and all ready for them for when they arrived. They were very thin, and most of them hadn't had shoes on for 3 years.
3 years?
Their feet swollen so that they...
Yes, tell us something about their conditions there, would you?
Well, their feet were all swollen, their ribs were showing, they were very thin. Of course, having been fed by the Navy and some Army when they were first rescued, they had all sort of gotten fat around the waist. They'd gained 10 pounds on the way down.
They'd gained 10 pounds since they got on the way down?
Food. And then after they arrived, we fed them almost continuously for 24 hours, plus getting them their first beer. They had their first beer party after they arrived. And also had a dance for them, which they enjoyed, but they found it very difficult to put shoes on and dance. They felt very clumsy.
Tell us where'd you get the beer from?
The chaplain furnished the beer. It was Australian beer and very good.
I know, that Australian beer is good, so they say.
Very strong.
It is? How much beer did you have over there? A sufficient amount for everybody?
At that time, we had plenty.
You did? How many of the girls here were on that party? Let's hear about that. Who's that? Come over now. Well, how'd you like it? Give us your idea about that party. How much beer did you drink?
I think the boys really enjoyed it. They had
They
as
did.
much as they could take care of, I'm sure.
Well, there's something else, Major, I was going to ask you. About the conditions of the boys' feet. I was vitally interested in that. Now, you say they hadn't had shoes on 3 years. Could they wear shoes when they put them on?
Well, no, not at first they couldn't, because their feet were too swollen, or else if they had them on, they were so large for them. And they seemed very heavy, because they had been made march for miles and miles in their bare feet over. Where?
Now, your prisoners, what did you say about those?
The largest group of prisoners of war that were taken care of by the 42nd came from the Davao Penal Colony. They had been placed on a ship by the Japanese, and they thought they were being carried to Formosa, although they were not sure. The ship was torpedoed off the coast of Zamboango by one of our American submarines, apparently, and it went down fairly rapidly. Those prisoners were down in the hold, and at the time the torpedo struck the ship, the hatches were blown off, and some of them, a small group, there were 750 on the ship, and only 83 of them managed to climb out and get ashore, mainly because the Japanese machine gunned them, threw grenades down the hold. In fact, tried to kill them as much as they could. Those prisoners that did manage to get ashore were taken care of by the Filipino guerrillas, sent out on a submarine to Biak Island, and brought down by plane to Brisbane, where we had our hospital. They, at first glance, looked to be a fairly good group of people. I mean, they didn't look too thin, and we thought that they looked fairly well. But the next day when we started going over them, most every one of them had been hurt some way or another. Very few of them had escaped. They were thin, their feet were swollen. They had only the clothes that the Navy had given them. Most of them had come ashore without any clothes at all. The Japs had taken their shoes from them. They went around wearing a G-string, a little straw hat to protect them from the sun. Most all of them had malaria. The greater majority of them had scabies. They had almost everything in the books.
I guess they did from this tropical country over here. Major, you were in on that down there, were you not? Did you say that you were in on it?
Yes.
And what's your experience on that? Did you have any particular experience that you wanted to tell about? Anything? Come right over here and tell us about
Well,
it. And you people,
nothing particular except that
come right on over
we
here.
did as much as we could for them in trying to make them feel like they were back in safe hands again
Yes?
with their own people, and I think they were very happy to see American women again.
I'll bet they
As a
were.
matter of fact, at one of the parties that we had for them, which I attended, one of the young lieutenants said, "Oh, what is that perfume? It's just like my wife was wearing the last time I saw her." It was probably at that time, it must have been 4 years ago.
That was 4 years for him, yes. Incidentally, Major, how many girls do you have over here now? That's new girls. You have
57.
57. Is that true?
Gabe.
Miss
Miss
Gay?
Gallagher.
Where is she? No, what? How do you like your new destination here, if you call it a new destination?
Well, I never thought I'd be here. Only 6 weeks ago we were back in the States, and now here we are. It was a grand thrill to see that American flag out there in the harbor when we came in, believe me.
You mean right here in Tokyo?
Right here in Tokyo, that's right.
You like that? Well, that's good. Incidentally, you got expecting to see any of your friends over here, do you think?
Well, I don't know. I'm kind of looking around. I think out of all the people in the States that I know, there ought to be a few of them here anyway.
Well, that's true, but not, there soon will be, because there's going to be lots of soldiers here as of soon, I think. Also, a lot of the naval and all branches of the military service, I can imagine.
Well, I'm looking for the Air Corps.
The Air Corps.
I have a husband.
Oh, you have a husband. Tell us about that. Tell us about that.
Well, he decided he'd do his bit. He volunteered 3 years ago, and, well, I volunteered right after he did.
Really?
Well, not right after, but I volunteered.
You did. Now, what do you think about these girls? They've really been through quite a procedure here, haven't they?
Well, I think they've all done a grand job, and I only hope that we, the youngsters, can halfway fill their shoes. We want to keep their reputation going. They really
How about-
establish themselves.
How about this? Well, this girl here, one of the youngsters, as you
Yes, Miss
determined again. Miss Friend. Glad to see you over here. Are you glad to be over here?
I think we are, and I think we're very lucky to be here and be in such a unit that has the reputation that's had, the grand work that they've done. We only hope that we can carry on after they go home.
Well, yes.
Their
these-
record up.
Yes, these girls they really did a wonderful job over here, and I'm sure it's appreciated each and every one. Naturally, it's shown, and you can tell it from the reception they get around. We hope that's the way they feel about it. And how many, any of the other girls here now might want to say
We
that
have
was
some
with
girls
you
here
now?
who've been here 2 years. Miss Albi's been over 3 years.
Miss Abby, is that true? Come over and give us some of your experiences. You must have had some in this length of time. In 2 years, that's 24 months.
Well, Miss Albi joined us about a year ago, and I can tell you something about the hospital since she's been with us.
Well, that's very fine, Major. We're glad to have you here in Tokyo, over here in Japan. I hope you like it over here, each and every one of you. Of course, we don't like it as well as we do in the United States. But we'll say this, that with the being over here under the difficulties that we might run into, why we'll say it's wonderful to be able to see each and every one of you over here and everybody be here. So thanks very much for coming
Thank
up
you.
and give us the little hand that you have given us. Thanks to each and every one of you. Very good. Hope you have a nice time over here.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Goodbye. That's fine.
Let's see this man now that we get